Come here. Welcome to the Famous Foxes Aftermath Show, live every Sunday on Leicester Fan TV. Come on, you Foxes. Good morning, Foxes. How the devil are you? How's your weekend been so far? Did you get wet yesterday? Did you enjoy the game? What's your feelings? Well, you know what day it is. It's Sunday. It's 9:30 a.m. It's time for the Famous Foxes Aftermath Show, run by us fans in here for you fans out there. And you know what? Your opinion really matters. Get them comments in. Let's get going. It's kick-off time. Come on, you Foxes.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Foxes Arms. For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.
Morning all, how are you? How's it going? What are your views on yesterday? Everyone got wet, everyone was disappointed. Another point at home. We've only lost 2 out of 5. People that keep talking about this, Eze hasn't won a game in 18. It's about the here and now. We've only lost 2 out of 5. We've got 3 points. We're not bottom. We're not bottom of the table. You've got to remember that. We're 14th or 15th. We're not bottom. There is positive still to take from yesterday, from all the other games. There is still positives to take. On that note, I'm going to bring Reedy in. Morning, Reedy. How are you?
Morning. How are you?
Have you dried off yet?
Yeah, my top's still drying out in the other room. So, yeah.
Let's bring Tom in from the shed.
Morning, mate.
How are you, Tom? Are you nice and dry now in your shed out back?
Well, let's put it this way. It was a bit wet, weren't it, really, in the, after the game, walking back to the cars. Before the game, it was beautiful blue skies, and we thought we were in for a treat of a game. And then, well, it turned into a bit of a wet day.
I'm just going to ask this because I was going to bring this up in conversation a bit later, but I'll do it now. Swanee's asked, morning, Jamie. Think JJ needs dropping. He didn't look at his best. He hasn't looked at his best, has he, Reedy?
Yes and no. Obviously, the Fulham game was a lot. I'm not going to blame him for the whole game, but there was a lot of things why we conceded in them games. But I heard on BBC Radio Leicester last night that 5 of the 8 goals we conceded were down to the right-hand side. And it just shows you that it feels like we're having issues on that side with playing with Christensen on the left. It means that JJ has to fill in that centre-back role like we did last year with Cody with the Doyle. So maybe it is time to change it in a way. I think that after yesterday and how Everton's number 10 kind of ripped him apart, I think we do need a change there. Does he bring Ricardo back in? I do hope so. How he's not getting a game or even a start or even a substitute, it is beyond me. And I think yesterday was a clear indication of why someone like Ricardo has to play, because we needed someone who was a bit more calm on the ball. And for me, it was a big reason why I think we didn't get a better result yesterday.
I mean, Tom, like we said, JJ did well, but he couldn't pocket Ndiaye, which is fair enough. But he had him sometimes. It's just the one he scored. He was on a scramble. But yeah, he wasn't in the right position for that. He is in. It's hard. I don't know. JJ seems to have regressed a little bit compared to when he first came, hasn't he, Tom?
I didn't think JJ had control of Ndiaye for the first half. I thought Ndiaye was running rings around him for fun. He couldn't pick him up. He was picking up the pockets. The goal comes from a 1-2, and you can't give a player like Ashley Young the time on the ball to pick a ball like he did, and you can't let Ndiaye run off his shoulder. The goal comes from JJ again in that point of view. He didn't have him. The second half, I thought he got better. He got more to grips with what he was trying to do until he went off. I felt he was more comfortable with him. The first half, JJ wasn't at the races anywhere near his man. He was running rings around him. like I say, it was such a poor goal to concede again, in my view. It's so avoidable. This thing about it, I look at the goals we conceded, and most of them can be avoided. You know what I mean? That's the frustrating thing about it. We haven't conceded a welter. Well, you know, if someone's not smashed one in the top corner from 30 yards and you go, can't do anything about that. All the goals we're conceding are defendable. The goal from yesterday, it's a set piece. You know, they take a free kick, it hits the wall. We then don't set up quickly enough, and we're all trying to move back into position. Time we do that, we've got players still in the wrong positions, and we get caught out from a 1-2. I would change it. I don't think Cooper's got his settled for his team. He doesn't know his best 11 yet, in my view. And I think until he starts chops and changing that defensive lineup, he's not going to know it. Sticking with JJ at right back is not the solution for the time being.
I mean, we all know there's going to be changes. Nick, I'll bring you on in a minute, pal. We all know there's going to be changes, but for the Warsaw game, there's going to be a lot of changes. I think you'll see like Ricardo start, but it's more the league that's the problem. Everyone wanted an attacking number 10 to come in, Reedy, yesterday. Everyone wanted, and it was either going to be Bernardi or El Canous. And it showed exactly what I said, that he was too lightweight. Yes, I know it's only his first game. He's had a week's training, but he was too lightweight for yesterday, Reedy. And everyone says, "Oh, you can't play Ndidi, Wilf. Sorry, you can't play Wilf, Winks, and Ndidi. Sorry, and Skip in the same lineup." And it showed yesterday. You need that lineup because El Canous just wasn't at the races yesterday.
I will admit he wasn't good enough. And again, I said I wanted El Canous over Buonanotte just to get his game time in and show him what he can do. But again, I don't think Everton was the right game for him to come in because again they're going to be fighting for the points as well as much as us. So I don't think he had a good game. I think that's maybe one big reason why we didn't get as many points as we probably could have against them. You could see how weak they were in the last 20, 30 minutes. When Buonanotte came on, it was a completely different story. We went at them 24/7. So it is a hard one. Again, I'm going to say give him time. I know people say, why you're not giving Cooper time? It was his first game. He needs to get used to the league. I don't think you can read too much of it, but like I say, I think next game against Arsenal, we do need to start Buonanotte. I still don't think Ndidi should be in that role because I think yesterday Ndidi was absolutely garbage. I think in that DM role he can't pass a ball. When he's in a more attacking role, he has more freedom to pass that ball. So he obviously where he got the 2 assists against Palace, but for me, his passing game's not good enough, and I think that's a big reason why. But people say we haven't got enough creativity. That's where the issue lies because I think when he gets him, the attack stops because he just can't pass.
Yeah. Tom, Mr. Six-Hitter Craig said, Canucci didn't look ready for the Prem yet. Bernardi better, but why drop Skip when he's been one of our better players? Do you agree? Why drop Skip yesterday for a number 10?
Completely agreed. I think Skip and Winks started to look like a nice little partnership in the middle of the park. They're both very mobile. They both can get around the park very quickly and recoveries are very good. They both can sniff out danger. What I like about both of them, know where the danger are and get into positions to try and stop that. I think we saw yesterday, Wilf and Ndidi very hit and miss. He can go and have a sublime game at Palace and gets 2 assists. Then yesterday's decision-making was shocking. As for El Canous, yeah, a very, very lightweight player at the moment. Obviously going to need a lot of game time to develop into this game. For me, he starts at Walsall on Tuesday, getting back into English game, getting to know how physical it is because he looked like he was shocked a few times when the challenges were coming in on him. And that you're not going to get the time it was you were in a poor Belgium league to play your passing game. Bernardi has to be starting for me. 30-odd appearances for Brighton. He knows what this league's about. You saw it when you come on. There's more clash there. There's more knowledge of where he needs to be on the pitch. He knows what players are around him. He knows where the ball's got to go. When the ball's at his feet, he's already looking for the next pass before it comes to him. Really, really clever player. And we that last 20 minutes when he came on the pitch, we looked 10 times better. Mm-hmm. Lifted the game. We looked threatening for a change.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring Nick in. Morning, Nick. How are you, pal? Are you good?
Morning, mate. You all right?
There we go. We're just talking about El Canous at the minute. I know you've been listening in the background. What are your views on him? And Do you think Bowen Naughty should be starting ahead of him? Or because the only reason I think is because I don't think his groin is still. Because he only had a scan a couple of weeks ago. I don't think he's fully fit to be starting a Premiership game, even though he looks the part, Nick.
I think it's too early to tell with El Canoes, but from what I saw yesterday, he's not ready to be starting games in the Premier League. I agree with you and Tom. Boyanate should have been starting. Knows the league, played many a times in it for Brighton. But again, with the Skip situation, I kind of get why Ndidi started. Let's be fair. Last week he was everybody's man of the match, and it's a bit harsh to drop your man of the match on the previous week, isn't it?
I think that was the only reason he was in. I think that was the only reason he got swapped out for Skip. I think if he didn't have that good a performance, he probably would have been dropped for Skip and Winks and had either El Canoes or Boyanate in the camera. So I think that was the only reason he was given the benefit of the doubt. But after yesterday, I'm sorry, I don't think he deserves to start.
Well, that's it. But then again, like you just said already, he was given his chance yesterday. Didn't play very well. So again, you try it. I mean, let's be fair. Next game's kind of a free hit, isn't it? Let's be fair. It's Arsenal, so it's a free hit. We'll try something. Do bring Skip back into the fold.
Tom, Dave Felstead has asked, well, another poor performance again in the first half, a little better in the second half, fortunate to get a draw. Do you think we're fortunate to get a draw? Could you see a goal coming? Or did you think, oh, God, here we go, it's going to be 1-0 to Everton? Or could you see Leicester winning it after making it 1-1, sorry?
I don't think we were going to go on and win it. I don't think even had another 25, 30 minutes, we'd put the ball in the net again. I think if you look where the goal comes from, it's very scrappy, and it's a bit of luck that Keane and Tarkowski both jump for the same ball and mishead it between them, and it basically hits Ndidi and falls to Mavididi. I didn't see us creating enough chances in that final 20 minutes, really. Clear cut. The only one I think he had was Bernardi, where his shot was blocked, what really looked like it was on target, and Ockley's header over the crossbar. I don't think about that we really tested Pickford enough to say we deserve to win the game. At half-time, I didn't see us getting anything from the game in that performance. Again, it was another performance where you're sitting there going, I don't see what he's trying to do. I don't see identity. I don't see a team with any cohesion. I go back and I'll bang on about Enzo, but after the first pre-season game away when we played Liverpool, you could see what he was trying to do. You could see the identity of playing out from the back. You could see the identity of the two number 8s, the two basically overlapping into the wing, overlapping the wingers, what they were trying to do and get the ball around the back of the fullbacks. You could see an identity. We're now 5 games in the season, and not one game have I sat and gone, I can see what Cooper's trying to do. We've got lucky with goals. We have. You look at all the goals we scored. There've been a couple of good ones from Vards, but the rest of them, it's all been about luck and being in the right place at the right time, and they've fell to us. I don't think I've seen a full performance anywhere to say that's what Cooper's trying to do. That's a Cooper team. I see us passing out from the back, but once we get to the final third, we look so disjointed.
But Tom, haven't we had that problem the last few years? Not just with Enzo, but even Rodgers' last year. That final third, we seem to look lost. It seems to be a trait that has been passed on and passed on. I don't know why, whether it's because we're trying to play keep ball all the time, or I just don't know. It's not just Cooper. It has been Enzo last year. The final third, we looked lost. We weren't smashing teams last year, even though we were competitive and nearly ran away with it. And Rodgers' last year, last 18 months, we didn't look. That final third didn't look capable.
But with Enzo, you always felt there was going to be a chance you'd get a chance. That's the difference. There was a calculator risk.
We were in the Championship. There's always going to be a chance. The chances don't come in the Premier League very often, and you have to take them.
I understand that the Championship is a different level, and you're always going to get more chances in the Championship. I always say that anyway. But I always felt with Enzo, it was a calculated risk because he was always, if you listen to the players always come out and said, if the ball wasn't on, we didn't play it. And that was not because they didn't want to play it. It was because Enzo told them not to play it. You only play the ball if it's 100% on, by the sounds of it, was Enzo's motto, because he didn't want to give the ball away unnecessarily and risk taking a chance. I think with Cooper he says risk taking the chance more. If you've got a chance, try 50-50 ball. We weren't trying anything yesterday because every time we picked the ball up in the middle of the park, everyone was so still and flat-footed. Nobody was moving into space that first half. We looked scared to get the ball. It was really, really poor. Rodgers, towards the end, teams have worked out how to stop us playing in Rodgers. That's my view. It wasn't a case we broke down. Rodgers had lost the plot, and because he was too stubborn to change it, he didn't, no players were doing anything different. They were just bored of what he was doing in my head. I think yesterday just is frustrating. I'm not saying Cooper out or anything like that, because I'm not stupid after 5 games start saying things like that. But I'm starting to get
there's
worried.
fans out there saying
Oh, there's
Cooper
loads
out.
of that. There's loads.
But for me, and my personal
loads.
is, I'm not going to sit here and say that yet. But I'm sitting here getting concerned by what I'm seeing on that pitch, that I can't see an identity after 5 games and a whole of pre-season.
Reader, hold on, Nick. Hold on. Reader, you said you wanted to ask me a question on the show, but you weren't going to ask me in the green room. Go on, ask me it. What you wanted to ask me?
My words to the guys in the car was, and I'm not saying Cooper out yet, because the draw wasn't a bad result, but it obviously wasn't great against a team who've lost 4 in a row. But I said, has your opinion changed since yesterday's game and how we played? Do you think Cooper's good enough to keep us up? And I honestly feel it's not. But like Tom said, there's just no clear identities, no this, no that, and the substitutes as well. It's just, and this is not me saying Cooper out yet. I'm still. I want to give him the next couple of games because there's still winnable games there, but I don't know.
My answer to that is, right, fair enough. You sack him tomorrow. You get another manager in. He loses 5 games on the bounce. What do you do then? Or he only gets a couple of points. What do you do then? You get another manager in. Do you become a Watford and keep changing the manager? Then you get no identity whatsoever. You've got to give people time. 5 games is not enough time. I'd rather be in 15th now after 5 games than sitting at the bottom with no points. Yes,
if we're 15th for the end of the season, let's be fair. We'll take it to the bank for that. It keeps us up.
We're not in the bottom 3. We're 15th. Yes, we've only got 3 points. But what do people actually want after 5 games? What do people want after 5 games?
I think what I was saying as well is the fact of if we got to 10 games and we didn't get a win, and I'm hoping that's not the case. If we got to 10 games and it wasn't a win, I'd question, have you spent too long already with 10 games, like wasting games of points that you could get? I think we could have had more points already than what we should have. But 10 games, if you haven't got a win.
Sorry, Reedy. How many points do you think we should have had? With 5 games in.
I'd say at least 2 more because of Palace. I think that for me is at least the 2 points.
Well,
I think we could have had more against. You said
to me before the Palace. Oh, I'll be happy with the draw after that. I'll be happy with the draw to come away from Palace drew with Man U yesterday. Remember that?
No, I saw that.
Palace drew with Man United.
Yeah, I get it. I think before the game and after the game is a different story for me. I think you might want to draw to begin with, but with 4 minutes to go, beating Palace 2-1.
Tom, have you changed a little bit over? Just answer Reedy's question.
Oh yeah, I've definitely changed. I'm not saying, like I say, I'm not sitting Cooper out because I don't think that's the right way to go about it after 5 games. That's not going to happen. That's not in Top's mindset. Let's put it that way. I can tell you that now. We saw that with Rodgers. He didn't sack him until after Christmas, and it was too late by that point. But yesterday's game, I think the point was proven. Why is it taking us so long? And this isn't the first time this season. Why does it take us so long to get going in games? I mean, if you look at all the games this season, Tottenham at home, 45 minutes wasted, nothing. Second half, a lot better. Fulham away, first half, 45, probably most of that game wasted, didn't turn up, didn't play well, good enough to get anything from the game, and didn't in the end. The Villa game, again, I thought first 15 minutes we did all right, and then we completely lost the plot really in that game. We didn't really change it when Cooper should have looked at it and changed something, because Aston Villa set up to counter-attack. They didn't set up to play their normal game. That's the manager's got to look at and do something in that position. The Palace game, I think we're unlucky. I'm not going to sit. I don't blame Cooper for the Palace game. I said that last week. I still think we were looking at that game, and players are letting down by doing stupid tackles and VAR's not help. I think yesterday the question mark once again has to be asked: why has it taken us to 60 minutes to start playing? If we had played like we did in that last 30 minutes, 25 minutes of the game, we win the game comfortably, in my view. I really believe we would have beaten Everton if we'd played out from that last 25 minutes from the start and taken it to Everton, had a go at them from the start instead of being, well, I don't know if saying scared, but I'd say unsure what to do because Everton came out the trap so quickly and pressed us. Look at the kickoff. The first kick was straight down from Pickford, straight down the pitch onto Calvert-Lewin. They weren't mucking around. Their plan was get the ball up the pitch as quick as they could, look for knockdowns, look for the second ball, and they did it really well. We didn't compete. We didn't win enough second balls. That's what cost us, and getting the win yesterday, basically losing 60 minutes of a football match before we decided to turn the switch. And it was like we turned the switch. As soon as we brought on Buonanotte, we look a different team. We look like things. That's down to Cooper's team selection. Look, I'm not saying El Khanousi is a bad player or anything like that, but for someone who's got all those experiences, surely he's the one who starts, and then El Khanousi comes on for the last 25 minutes, build his confidence up. It's all about building confidence in the league. But I still question why it's taken us so long in games to get going. We can't carry on waiting 45 minutes to start playing football matches because I'll tell you now, we'll come unstuck one way and it could be Arsenal next week. If we don't turn up 45 minutes, we could get absolutely trounced away at Arsenal if we play like we did in the first half. And it's not been negative or anything like that. I'm just saying what I see. We've got to change sync up. Cooper doesn't know his best starting 11 yet. That is concerning. I know it's only 5 games in, but he's had the whole of pre-season to look at players. Mm-hmm. What has Ricardo got to do to get in that team?
Well, yeah, there is that. Nick, what would you say? Hold on, before I come to you, Chris, I'm not allowed to talk about the past. I've been told I'm not allowed to talk about the past at all, but I totally agree with you.
I agree with it.
People say I'm living in the past all the time, and because I don't like the tippy-tappy football, but I'm not allowed to talk about it, Chris, but I totally agree with you. Nick, what has Ricardo got to do to get in that team? We all know he's going to be playing on Tuesday night.
Well, he has to be.
Well, he should be, but again, I don't know whether there's some sort of discontent behind the scenes that we're not aware of, where, let's be fair, everybody was all in the loving with Enzo last year. Certain players, Winks was, Ricardo was, maybe Ricardo's thrown his toys out the pram from, not playing in midfield like he was last season. We don't know.
What all of these people have got to remember, though, Nick, is that Enzo walked. That's what people have got to remember. Enzo walked and left us in the lurch.
I know that, and you know that. I know that, and you know that. And in my eyes, Enzo's a Judas. He jumped ship as soon as things got. He knew that things potentially could have got a bit trickier, and as soon as the first offer come on the table, he walked. So he won't get a great reception from me when he comes back to the King Power. But what going back to what we were just talking about, does the way we are at the minute not remind you a little bit of how we were when we went up with Pearson? We're not being battered. We've been in some sort of games and stuff. We just haven't got the points on the board. I think people are quick to forget who we are and where we've come from. We're a newly promoted team.
I get that.
Challenging top 10. We're not challenging for European places. You've got to be realistic.
Nick, everyone thinks we're going to be challenging for your.
I know, because
we're not. We're not.
Jake, read that. There's a hell of a lot of them that are.
Maybe so.
The same one is that when we won the Premier League, we're going to win it next season.
I'd much prefer us to get as quick out of the relegation area as possible, and I'm not saying that means
which is where we are.
No, maybe so, but I think for me, people are saying, "Oh, we're competitive. We're in the game." For me, is not enough to stay in the league. We've got to show some teams like Palace, like Everton, we are better than them. Even if on paper we're not, we need to show them that we've got the quality to stay up and be better than them. And actually, instead of drawing games, winning games. Because at the moment, it is hard for me to see where the win is going. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm saying that how we're playing, getting points here, points there. Where is that first 3 points going to come?
I would rather take 1 point the no points reader. At the end of the day, if you can't win, don't
Don't
lose.
lose. No, I get that. I get that. Yeah.
Can I just put my 2 pence in here?
Go on,
Firstly,
Tom.
the whole promotion and the Nigel Pearson, he came up as a team. He's not a new manager trying to build sync. So it's a totally different scenario from my view. The second point of view, we were being competitive under Pearson, but we had a structure and we had a way of playing what we continued from the Championship into the Premier League. And yeah, you could tell that we didn't have that experience in the Premier League. For me this year, we've got enough experience in that team who have all played Premier League football. You know, Winks has played Premier League football and Diddy's played many years of Premier League football. Well, Faz has played Premiership football. James Justin has played Premiership football. You know, the team there, Jamie Vardy, enough Premiership League. They've enough experience in that team to play. This isn't me just sitting here just picking for things. I just look at it and I just don't see what we're trying to do under Cooper. That's my only concern at the moment. And for me, the games are going by very quickly in the Premier League and like the Championship. And you get one game a week. You know, where in the Championship, you could get one on Saturday and then you get time on a Tuesday to put it back right when you lose a game. But the teams around us, I said it the other night, we're in a mini league already. There's a little mini league at the bottom of the table. And I don't expect to be challenging anything above 17th. I'd take 17th now. But for me, there's already a little league where you've got to be going and getting points and winning games at home. Jamie says it every week. You draw away, you win your home games. We got to draw against Palace and Everton at home, who haven't won 5 games now and lost in the cup the other night with no confidence. We let them come and play. We let them have too much respect.
But that's a bit of hold on, Tom. But that's a bit of a Sean Dyche trait, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
The way they play, we expected that, surely.
But
you can see why they concede so many.
Hold on, Reedy. Go on, carry on, Tom.
But that's the tactics of the manager. We all know how Sean Dyche plays. He plays to win the second ball. He plays long. He plays into the wingers. But we couldn't cope with how they were playing, and we just stood there and watched them at the time. For me, there weren't enough movement when we had the ball. Our biggest problem was there wasn't enough movement in the middle of the park. We got the ball at the fence, and we just stood and looked at each other. While Faz did not have an option to play wide, when we got the ball, we were so slow to move the ball around the park. That's the problem with me. What I'm seeing at the moment, everything's too slow. Lorenzo, there was a quickness when we got the ball in the final third at times. What I'm seeing at the moment is a team that's still trying to learn Cooper's ways and what he's trying to do. But it's concerning after 5 games plus a pre-season, we still haven't got an identity. That's what my biggest concern is. I'm not saying I'm not Cooper out, but you have to look his tactics against opposition and games against Everton at home. For me, has to be a 3-pointer if you want to stay in the Premier League. That's a mini league at the moment. Look at the mini league and look at the results yesterday. If we'd won, I think we would have been on 5 points. Ipswich would have been on 2. Southampton would have been on 1. Everton would have been on 0. Palace would have been on 1. You suddenly got a nice little gap there already. It's only 3 points, but there's a gap. These home games against that team around us, and you say it's the mini league: Leicester, Everton, Southampton, Ipswich, Palace. There's 5 teams in a mini little battle there already. You've got to be winning the home games if you want to stay in the Premier League. That's just my opinion.
You can throw West Ham in that league.
Oh, exactly. Okay, West Ham as well. They've started.
They've got a single point on the board. They looked. I know they were playing Chelsea, but they looked woeful yesterday.
And especially
woodworm there, Tom, from the shed.
Christ.
And especially with having Arsenal next game as well, it kind of makes that Everton game a bit more annoying to not win it.
But though, Reader, this would be typical Leicester.
Yeah,
go to Arsenal and sneak something at Arsenal.
I think for me, out of all these games, I think Scott's comment a bit above. I'll bring it up now quickly, Jamie. This one here about saying about we need to attack more in certain games and potentially leave us exposed. For me, that is what we need to do. We can't just sit defensively all game. We have to go out there and be a bit more exposed at times. I think if we did that, I think we could go and win it, or yes, we could go and lose it. But I think that's where the difference is between winning a game for us and maybe just keeping a draw. And I think that extra little bit for me is where we need to try and go for it a bit more instead of just being a bit more cautious.
One last thing I want to, because some of us have to go work on a Sunday, not like you three. Subs. Again, last year, Enzo got for not using his subs. This year, Cooper bringing the subs on at the wrong time. Tom, it's another thing that managers these days don't seem to want to change it that quickly. They leave it too late. I'd have liked to see Eduardo up top. I'd have liked to seen him up top with Vardy, but that was never going to happen because I'm not allowed to talk about two up top anymore because that is not in the rule book, in the laws anymore. The subs are not, to me, the subs are a little bit late. Not that it's the change. I'm not on about who he changed for. I'm just saying the tactical changes are coming too late, Tom.
You're muted, mate.
No, Tom. Oh,
there you go.
You there, Tom?
No, he's muted still.
Nick?
I think, personally, the reason why... I mean, I agree with you. I'd like to see an Edouard and Vardy up top together. But you've got to remember, Daka's crocked. And we nearly had a heart-in-mouth moment yesterday with Vardy. He didn't look like he were going to continue at one point. It's just... maybe it's playing it safe by keeping the one striker up top. But I think when Daka's a bit more mobile and a bit more in training, then you might see the two up top.
Go on then, Tom. Now you're back with us. Tactical changes, not who the change for, just why are the subs tactically at the wrong time?
Well, I think you saw the point. He brought on Bonate and he changed the game. So that was a good change by Cooper back in there. But to leave Vardy on for so long, we've been crying out for weeks because we hadn't had a striker to change. Why leave Vardy on to like the 82nd minute? That should have happened about 60, 65. By that point, Vardy, for me, has run his game. He's done his legs. Let's save him for the next game or save him to bring him off the bench. Because at the moment, obviously, if Vardy gets injured, then back to one striker. So you've got to be careful what you're doing with your strikers, seeing that we've only got two. As for the Mavididi, don't agree with that substitution at all. Thought it was the wrong decision. Doesn't matter on timings, it was the wrong decision. Mavididi had scored a goal. His confidence was restoring. He had Garner on a yellow card going into the final 10, 15 minutes of the game. Garner didn't want to go near him or touch him or couldn't read what he was going to do. He had him basically toast. For me, Jordan Ayew, who ran himself into the ground, and I thought he had a good game yesterday, Jordan Ayew. I thought he worked so hard for the team. Yeah. But for me, for Cooper, and I said it on my post-match review, he apparently watched every Leicester game back from last season. Obviously, everyone knows the best place to put Abdul Fattah is on that right-hand side. He likes to cut in. He likes to be 1-2s in around the box. Why are you bringing him on for the player who scored the goal and competition flying? The wrong decision at the wrong time with 2 minutes to go, and then to come out in the press and say that Mavididi had run his race. What, you're telling Mavididi he can't manage another 6 minutes? I think Cooper, that is poor comments from him, in my view, on that. And for me, if you've seen all the Leicester games, we all know Abdul Fattah is weak. If you put him on the left-hand side, you put him on his right, let him cut in his shoot, or let him cross the ball. That is the best tactics. Was there any other substitutions he missed? Definitely. Skip should have come on about the 70th minute mark for Ndidi, because I think he had such a poor game. How he managed 90 minutes, I don't know. We move on to the next game, chaps. But yeah, the substitutions at the wrong times again, and the wrong substitution in my view. I think the fans made it quite clear to Jamie.
Is this a Cooper thing, or is this a general manager's thing, leaving it too late? Because you see a lot of subs coming on 70, 75, 80 minutes, not just in Leicester games, but in any games.
I think it's a manager thing, Jamie. I mean, West Ham made the change in the first half. In their
that was injury, though, wasn't it?
No.
Oh,
he brought Souček on because Chelsea were running riot around them.
Yeah,
he did. I think it's more of a manager the thing. But for me, I don't know what you guys think, but for me, I kind of see why Ayew's staying on, because for me,
I think it gives you that bit more.
He's not been brilliant this season so far.
On that right-hand side or left-hand side, right-hand side.
But I think because of how we were at against Everton, like I say, we were literally on them constantly, because you can see why they've conceded so many goals recently. Like, they were crumbling from like the 70th minute. So for me, that's where I'm like, I'd rather try and go for the game and risk having someone a bit more attackive on than keep somebody on who's a bit more defensive. But I don't know. Like I say, 4 minutes to go. What is Fatu realistically going to do, even if it is from Aberdeen? He's not going to do anything.
Should be only for injuries, really, not for tactical.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing's going to happen in them last 4 minutes.
Yeah. But the crowd
Anyway,
really know, mate. That's the worst thing about it. If you're Cooper and you're standing there, and the whole crowd, and it was nearly, I'd say, 90% of that crowd were booing that substitution. You can't stand there, mad and think, I've got this wrong. If is he so stubborn to think that was the right decision after the crowd went absolutely mental at it, then he's living in cuckoo land to then come out with the statement he's made. And he needs to learn quickly, because he will lose the fan base quicker if he doesn't sort it out soon. And that's just an open opinion, mate. I think that the fan base is split at the moment, but if he doesn't sort out his tactics and substitution quickly, then fans will turn very quickly on him. And it will be, a lot of fans will say, because his Forest connections. And that will be the main reason. Leicester fans will use that connection with Forest. They shouldn't, but they will. Like I say, I'm not on a Cooper out, and I'm not saying that, but I need to see something different going into the games at Arsenal. Look, Tuesday night is a massive game. If we were to lose on Tuesday night, that would really ramp the pressure up on Cooper going. Even if it is Arsenal, it would ramp the pressure going up to that home game with Bournemouth. Considering Bournemouth got spanked on Saturday away at Liverpool.
To be fair, we'll get spanked against
I very much doubt it, Terry. I can't see him coming back to the club for a third time. Anyway,
take Enzo back when he gets sacked at Chelsea.
No.
Right, we're going to leave it there.
I'm
not previewing the Walsall game because Phil's going to do that tomorrow night. Tom, you're on Walsall TV, aren't you, in a bit?
Yeah, later on this afternoon, got a recording for them. So, yeah, that'll be a good thing to do.
Tell them thank you for Matty Price all those years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Matthew Pratt, yeah. Right, then, Tom, we shall speak to you again soon. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Nick, thanks a lot for joining us on this nice and bright Sunday morning.
Well, it might be bright for you, but it's shocking in Leicestershire, mate.
Oh, is it? Oh, that's a shame. Not here, pal. Not here. See you later, Nick. Thank you, pal. Rightio, lads and lasses. Much appreciated once again for us joining. Reedy, last word with you, very quickly.
Let's beat Walsall.
Let's beat Walsall. Are you going?
I'm not actually, no.
You're not?
I'm not, no.
Wow.
I've already been there.
Hold on. Tom's in disgust. Tom is absolutely in disgust with you there.
I know.
I'm going.
I've already been there, and I thought, you know what?
Tom's been there. He was playing snowballs. Was that the snowball game, Tom?
I went to the snowball fight. That was in League One, and also went there in the cup when we beat them a couple of seasons ago as well. Yes, but the League One was the better one. Snowball fight.
I very much doubt there'll be snowballs there this time, Tom.
Cheers,
right,
mate.
See you later. Right then, Reedy. If I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window, pal. See you later, mate. Be good. Cheers, all. Much appreciated. Turning up at this ungodly hour. Just remember, it's getting near. It's getting close to the winter. It's getting close to the winter. You'll see more of me. So it's ciao, ciao, adios, goodbye, yakida. Come on, you foxes. There goes the final whistle.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms. For exclusive extra shows, behind the scenes, competitions and podcasts, subscribe to Leicester Fan TV today on Patreon.